Hi my lovelies, it's your girl Locked and Letos. Welcome and/or welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Always like, comment, and share because I absolutely love to hear from you. If you did not know, I am in this for the love of all things beauty and beautiful. And I'm coming at you today to answer one of my most frequently asked questions here recently is, why did you cut your locks? So if you are interested in learning why I cut my locks, what the deal is, what's going on, you know what? Stay tuned. So as many of you know, I was recently diagnosed with stage 2 breast cancer, and I'm going to be undergoing chemotherapy. And so I am actually going to be using the Paxman scalp cooling system to try to retain my hair, right? So that seems kind of counterintuitive. You cut your locks to try to retain your hair. So let me get a little bit into this. I have me some notes, so if I keep looking down, it's because I want to make sure I'm covering everything. So I do have my notes. So the scalp cooling works by kind of like constricting, cooling your scalp to constrict the blood vessels on your scalp. And by constricting those blood vessels, it actually does limit the amount of chemicals, the amount of chemochemicals that get into your scalp. Now, in order to get the Paxman system, actually all of these systems use kind of a cap, right? And in order to get this cap to fit tightly on my head, I needed to cut my locks. And right, so it would fit kind of right here, but if you remember, my locks, my hair thick, y'all. My hair is so thick. So from that perspective, the scalp cooling cap would not be able to come into contact with my scalp evenly all over my scalp if I had my locks. So that is the real reason I cut my locks. I cut my locks first and foremost. You know, with chemo, there's going to be hair loss, thinning, ... So, but this scalp cooling system, the only way that it would really work well is if I cut my hair so that it would allow the cap to contact my scalp evenly. Let's get into a few things about this scalp cooling system. So I'm going to be using the Paxman scalp cooling system. First thing to know about the Paxman scalp cooling system is that your infusion system or your infusion center actually does have to participate with Paxman. They actually have to have a Paxman machine there. There are other scalp cooling methods and programs and companies, and I'll link a few in the description, but I'm using the Paxman system. My infusion center at Johns Hopkins actually uses the Paxman system, and again, so I'll be using the Paxman system, kind of defaulted to the Paxman system. The second thing that you need to know about the scalp cooling systems, most of them, is that they are actually relatively expensive. They can run anywhere from $300 to $400 per month to a total of like $2,500, $2,600 to $3,000. And unfortunately, right now, most insurance companies are not covering the cost of scalp cooling. Like, it's crazy that this is something that women, go through. It's a mental health issue. There are so many reasons that I can, we could talk about that would warrant this being covered by insurance, but a lot of insurance companies are not covering scalp cooling. There are a lot of local organizations that offer subsidies and discounts and scholarships, if you will. So definitely take a look or do your research and figure out whether or not there are any of those types of organizations that are local to you to learn a little bit more about the scalp cooling. The third thing about scalp cooling is that there are no guarantees, right? Especially with African American 3C, 3 and 4 hair, kinky, curly, coily, whatever you want, nappy, whatever you want to call it. There have been very few clinical trials with our hair types. So, first and foremost, there's no guarantees, period, right? There's nobody that can guarantee that you won't lose your hair. The chemotherapy drugs are incredibly, and I'm sorry, y'all, it's raining and there's a thing that outside my house that does this, makes this noise. So I'm sorry, it's going on in the background. But anyway, so anyway, there are no guarantees with regard to, keeping or retaining your hair. The Paxman website does give you kind of some odds, if you will, or the likelihood of you retaining your hair based on your chemo regimen, because different drugs have different impacts and have different impacts on the scalp. So depending on your chemo regimen, Paxman will give you, kind of based on their experience, what the likelihood is of you retaining your hair. Some have really great outcomes. Some drug regimens have really great outcomes. Some drug regimens are really, really intense and don't have such great outcomes. So again, there's no guarantees in this whole scalp cooling, hair retention game right now. The fourth thing that you want to know about the scalp cooling system is that you will need to be fitted for your cap by the healthcare provider, right? So your healthcare provider, in this case, my oncology office, actually fitted me for my cap, and they actually send the information to Paxman. So it's almost like a prescription. So your doctor's almost writing a prescription to be filled by Paxman, and Paxman's pharmacy will fill that prescription, and then they will contact you to, get your shipping address and your payments and work out, what the payments are and so on and so forth. And then they will send you your scalp cooling cap, inner and outer cap, before you start treatment. So you need to do this before you start any chemotherapy treatment, because again, the idea is to cool your scalp before you start chemo, right? Or during your chemotherapy treatments. Now, I will make another video getting into once I've gotten my whole Paxman thing going on or gotten a routine, I'll definitely follow up with a routine on the whole Paxman system. But let's get into this unboxing. So as I mentioned, my doctor fitted me for my Paxman cap, sent the information over to Paxman. Paxman contacted me to confirm my payment and my shipping address and all that good stuff. And they sent me over my scalp cooling cap. Here it is, coming right out of the box. Paxman is changing the face of cancer. This technology is not new, but it is gaining more and more traction and credibility. Inside your Paxman case, you'll actually get, number one, of course, lots of information on how to, maintain your scalp cooling cap. of course, how to actually go about utilizing your scalp cooling cap and so on and so forth. So it's a nice thank you card as well. I love that. In addition, the bag itself is actually a nice little insulated bag. It comes with the cap, but in addition comes with some nice accessories. So let's take a look at these accessories. Inside this kit is a headband. So there's a nice little headband, and I'll show you what the headband is used for a little bit later. But there's also some cleansing wipes that come with this, again, the headband. And I use the headband a little bit differently, but whatever. I use it the way it works for me. So there's that. In addition, there is a Tangle teaser, and that's an original Tangle teaser. It's a detangling brush. It's really important that your hair be detangled while you're using your Paxman system. Of course, a spray bottle. So this is a nice towel and a spray bottle so that you can, of course, wet your hair. Make sure your hair is wet. Your hair does have to be wet while you're using your Paxman. So again, the spray bottle will help you to wet your hair when you are at your infusion site. There's also a nice mirror. Now, my infusion site actually has restrooms and things like that. So, well, things like that. It has restrooms. So I don't actually use my mirror very often, but anyway. In addition to those items, Paxman does have their own shampoo and conditioner. You don't have to use the Paxman shampoo or conditioner. Like, that doesn't make your hair retention better or worse or anything like that. But they do sell it, so it is what it is. Let's take a look at the cap itself. You'll notice that everything is in kind of tamper evident packaging. Again, this is a medical device, and they want to make sure that it's getting to the person that it should be getting to, and that when you've gotten it, that no one else has, tampered with it or whatever. So anyway, there is that. Y'all, open this up was just, it was really the struggle. Like, your girl is struggling with with the straps and so on. But anyway, here we are. You'll notice that there is the outer cap and the inner cap. Rolled up inside of the cap, you will see the tubing that connects the cap to the Paxman machine once you get to your infusion site. So there's a, a token as well as the tubes. The tubes are covered by a neoprene covering to insulate them and keep them cold while they're hooked up to the system. And then you have the inner cap. Actually, let me see if I can separate that. There's a piece of Velcro there. Yep. There's the inner cap that has the cooling liquid. It starts with an O. I'll actually look it up and put it here, but it starts with an O. It is non-toxic, so if it does get on you or whatever, it's fine. And then the outer cap is a neoprene outer cap that actually insulates the whole system and keeps it cool.